How's it going, you guys? AZPlow21 back again with another episode of our UFC save here in WMMA 5. And today we've got UFC Fight Night MIR versus GUSTAFSSON. Gotta love it. Live in Indiana, the Hoosiers going crazy over some UFC. Got Jessica Andrade, Joey Davis, Darren Elkins, The Damage, Hussier Formiga also on the card as well. We are making our way towards UFC 299, Song versus Cruz 2. That is going to be our final pay-per-view for a while because we are making our way also towards UFC 300, which I am planning to be a very, very, very big pay-per-view. I want as many title fights on that pay-per-view card as possible. The 300th UFC pay-per-view, I got to make it a big one. So I'm holding out on any big title fights until that pay-per-view. So for a while, it's just going to be a bunch of UFC fight nights consecutively, which might get, a little boring for a while, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be a big pay-per-view. Hope you guys are doing well, whether you're watching on YouTube or Twitch. Everyone that's here in the Twitch chat, appreciate you. As always, if you're watching on YouTube, follow the links down in the description below so you can follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch, all that good stuff. Let's get into it. UFC Fight Night MIR versus GUSTAFSSON. Taking place in Indiana. I'm going to start out with the prelims as always. We've got Christian Simon taking on Shamil Musayev in, I believe, the 155 division. Yes, sir. Musayev, a small favorite, but it's Simon who gets the knockout. 14 seconds into round number 2, moving to 13-3, the 29-year-old. And he wants to fight Sage Northcutt. Wants to get a little bit of that money, get a little bit of that shine. Michael Chandler, who in this save has not been doing well at all. 1-3 in the UFC since he's come in. Just got his first win over Yoshiki Nakahara. Losses to Jeremy Kennedy, Stephen Ray, and Evander Kuhn. He's not been doing well at all. Taking on Magomed Saged Ali Bekov, who I believe is actually in the UFC now. I can't say for sure, but this guy's been pretty good. 4-1 in the UFC, not looking good for Chandler. And as you can see, he is a small underdog. And he gets TKO'd by Ali Bekov. So we might be saying goodbye to Michael Chandler if his contract is up. 10th loss of his career, 1-4 in the UFC. For whatever reason, just not doing good in this save. I also do want to mention, though, before we go on to this next fight, I've started a local to global save with the newest databases, I should say. It's called W3. So doing a local to global save, that is going to be a long play local to global save. So that's going to be me strictly on Twitch or streaming on YouTube the entirety. So no video editing, anything like that. It's just going to be me in like 2-3 hour long sessions, just booking fights and seeing what else I can do. It's going to be a lot of simulating going on just because we're very early on in the save. But if you're enjoying local to global saves and you want to watch another one, hey, I'm here for you. We got Amir Idaya taking on Yoshiki Nakahara. Nakahara, of course, coming off that loss to Michael Chandler, but he gets a submission win in round number 1. Moving on, Askab Zulayev taking on Robin Van Roosmalen. I believe Van Roosmalen 4-2 in the UFC. I figured he would do a lot better, just because he's got that kickboxing pedigree. Coming off losses to Sabatini and Unisilao. Definitely not easy fights by any means, but not perfect in his UFC career. Gets a TKO finish in what apparently was a fantastic fight. Love to see it going for that 100K, because now bonuses are $100,000 here in the UFC. Something that Dana White could learn from. I know he just gave everybody a bunch of bonuses on that England card, but still. Any upcoming fights you're looking forward to? Next pay-per-views look really good to me. Joe Lauzon, Donald Cerrone looks like it would probably... I believe Lauzon and Cerrone is here in Phoenix. I'm not 100% sure. But that should be very fun. I'm going to that pay-per-view in Phoenix. This upcoming weekend, we got Blades and Dawkins. That might end up being a little bit of a boring fight, but I like Curtis Blades either way. I feel like Blades will... I feel like he'll get a finish, but not like a great finish. He'll just tire out Dawkins, I'd imagine. But other than that, I mean, we got a pay-per-view coming up pretty soon. We've also got, like I mentioned, the pay-per-view here in Phoenix. Got Esparza versus Namajunas. Got Gaethje versus Oliveira, which should be good. And I believe Chandler versus Ferguson on that card. That's looking like a really good card. So I'm excited about it. First time hearing about Lauzon. Yeah, two veterans going at it, man. That should be very, very fun. Because I'm a big fan of Joe Lauzon, or Lauzon, however you pronounce it. And I mean, Cerrone, it's always going to be a fan favorite. I'm not necessarily a fan of a Cowboy just because I just stuff that he's done in his past and whatnot. He's not a good guy, but either way, I'm going to watch his fights. Korean Superboy, Doo-Ho Choi taking on Gilbert Melendez. Definitely not the Superboy anymore, 32 years old, Jesus. Taking on Gilbert Melendez, 41 years old, definitely out of his prime. I believe he's on, coming off one loss to Tyler Diamond. But before that, little win streak. So, I mean, good for him. Keeping his job and not a big underdog. And Doo-Ho Choi TKOs Melendez in another fantastic fight. That's awesome. It's freaking incredible. What is incredible? The Lozon and Cerrone fight? Yeah, I mean, that should be fun. Pat Mix versus Mar De La Rosa, the wife of Montana De La Rosa. Yes, you did hear me say that. Patrick Mix, 2-1 in his young UFC career, coming off the loss to Rustam Karimov. On the other side, you have De La Rosa, basically 500 on his UFC career, but he's won 4 out of his last 5. So, I mean, doing well for himself, and loses right as I say that. Gets submitted by Pat Mix, who wants to fight Geraldo de Freitas next. Will Campuzano. Yes, that's a good point. That's a good point, Papa Percules. Bees and De La Rosa for the Ultimate Wife fight. Tension in action against Will Campuzano. Tension, for whatever reason, popular as crap over in Japan, has not really gotten a hold of the American audience. It doesn't help that I'm putting him on prelims, but why would I if he's not A, ranked, or B, popular? Tension gets the win, though. So he's 9-1. 4-1 in his UFC career, winner of 3 straight. I mean, this guy should be fighting someone who's ranked next. Sharapenko taking on Natalia Denisova in the strawweight division. Girls both out of the rankings, and Sharapenko gets the unanimous decision victory. She's now 5-2 in her UFC career. She probably should be fighting someone who's ranked as well next. Todd Duffy versus Dustin Jacoby. I had the pleasure of watching Jacoby when I was at the Masvidal Covington fight. Question: John Jones always makes a big talk about coming back in heavyweight division. Well, first of all, he's gonna have to figure out his legal situation. I don't know if he can fight right now just because of that. Other than that, I think it's just him holding out on money, I believe. So I'm not 100% sure. Like, irregardless of how much of an asshole and, like, a stupid guy he is, John Jones is one of my favorite fighters, so I want to see him fight. You know, it's not a matter of, like, oh, I hate him because he's a terrible person, so I don't want to see him fight. Like, no. I know he's a terrible person. He's still one of my favorite fighters. Because when it comes down to it, he's a good guy to watch fight. Like, he's an entertaining fighter. Like, maybe not the last couple fights. Some of his fights have been boring recently, but as far as, like, the hype, and, like, it's John Jones. So, like, I love watching him fight. He's one of my favorite fighters. I'm always stoked for his fights. I do think Reyes beat him in that fight, but, I mean, what are you going to do? It's Texas. Texas is always known for being shitty as far as judging fights. Todd Duffy taking on Dustin Jacoby, which in real life right now would probably be a very good fight. Jacoby, a big underdog, and he gets knocked out in round number 1. Moving right along, Janelle Lausa taking on Adrian. Hey, hello. Adrian Matheus in the flyweight division, and it's Matheus getting the win via decision. Husier Formiga taking on Alex Perez in the flyweight division. This would be a really good fight in real life. I'm not sure if it's happened in real life as of yet. They've definitely fought in game. Other than that, no, I don't believe they have. Formiga, big favorite in this one, and he gets the submission. Another fantastic fight on this show. This card has been really good as far as, like, good fights. Love to hear it. Entertaining to watch. Hope he gets starched if he comes back. Well, the thing is, if he comes back, you have to think about who his potential opponents could be. Like, guys that I could see potentially starching him are Ngannou. Maybe Gon. I don't think I've seen Gon actually, like, knock somebody out. He's more of a... He's basically John Jones, if you think about it, minus his wrestling. And Ngannou, I guess Lewis. That's it. Because, like, I haven't seen Gon straight up knock somebody out. Or correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe so. Unless it was, like, a prelim fighter, like, years ago. But I don't think Gon has knocked anybody out like that. I mean, Lewis for sure has that power, and Ngannou for sure. But other than that, I don't know. And the thing is, those fighters that I mentioned, like, I know Ngannou had his really good Thai. Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, RBM. Thai possibly could. But the thing is, with all those fighters, John would probably wrestle. Thai will not be good enough on the ground. And Ngannou had a good time against Gon on the ground and ended up being an NCAA wrestler for some reason in that title fight. But I still don't think he would be up to par with John. It would just be up to, like, whether or not he's strong enough to just get John off of him. And Thai obviously is not good enough on the ground. And the same thing with Gon. Like, the thing is, like, even if those three guys he fights, yes, he can get caught and get knocked out. But, like, that would not be the game plan for him. So I just don't see a way that John is, like, an underdog in any of those fights. And the thing is, we also haven't seen him fight in 2 years. So we have zero idea what John's going to do when he comes back. He can be absolutely shredded when he comes back and just be like, you know what, I just want to knock these guys out. And I mean, credit to him. But we also just haven't seen him fight in forever. We don't know if he's even healthy. His knees could be shot, and that's why he's not wanting to come back. You know, cocaine and EPO and that shit can do a lot to your body. Justin Burlinson, 14-1, taking on Andre Muniz, the guy that pretty much retired Jacare Sosa. And Justin Burlinson gets the unanimous decision. Burlinson not calling anybody out. Darren Elkins taking on Super Sodiq Yusuff. 40-year-old Darren Elkins, with 40 pro fights to his name, was able to watch Sodiq Yusuff fight, I believe it was last weekend. Good on him getting the win. Lost to 2 Ricardos in a row. Now he's on a 3-fight winning streak. You got Darren on the other side. This guy coming off win over Kyler Phillips at featherweights. Interesting. Oh no, then Darren Elkins gets knocked out by Super Sodiq. He just got knocked out. It'll be interesting to see if Darren Elkins retires. He does not. Good on you, my man. Joey Davis taking on Yaroslav Amosov. I believe this fight has happened. I'm not 100% sure. But this would be a really good fight, like in real life. Again, I don't know if it's happened yet. I think it's scheduled or it's happened already. I mean, I'm not a Bellator guy. Amosov coming off a win over Cowboy Oliveira. Joey Davis coming off 3 straight wins. He's probably scared DC would try to kill him if he ever can. DC's not going anywhere. DC's not coming back. That man's probably a good 300 right now. I mean, good for him, you know? Like, I wish I could be 300 pounds and not have any qualms about it, but DC's not coming back. Joey Davis wins a split decision over the, I believe, current Bellator welterweight champion. Jessica Andrade taking on Loma Luke Boonmi. This is a big fight, actually, because this decides the women's strawweight contender next. If Luke Boonmi gets a win, she's fighting for the strawweight championship. You can see 3 straight wins, Nadia Kassem, Zapatella, and Karate Hottie. On the other side, you have Jessica Andrade, former 1-time champion, coming off a win over Virna Jandiroba, but before that, winner out of 4 out of her last 5. DC would jump the guardrail and jump Jones. Oh, is that like just attack him, or like you mean like skip him in line? John Jones is not going to get skipped in line. John Jones is on the same level as like Connor. If Jones said today, I am able to fight, I have no legal troubles, I'm willing to fight, sign the dotted line, he's going to fight for the title. And the thing is, it's more than likely going to be him. We just don't know when, because of the legal stuff, because we don't know who it's going to be. If I'm Dana White, I feel like you put Ty in there. Because Tai Tuivasa is kind of a big name. Tai Tuivasa is going to make it an interesting fight. And it's low-key... Oh, as an attack him. I don't think DC's that kind of guy. He's not Masvidal. Which is another crazy story, by the way. But I feel like Ty is the easiest possible fight for John, which Dana would like. Papa Pericles doesn't like that. But that's the nature of the beast. They're not going to give John a super tough fight, especially for an interim championship. Like, and with Tuivasa, you can kind of roll it as like, oh well, he's earned it, because he kind of has. And like Gon just lost, Stipe just lost, and we don't even know if he's gonna fight again because he's full time as a firefighter now. So I mean, Tuivasa's next. Who else is it gonna be? Blades if he wins? No way. The thing is, like, Blades as funny as it sounds, might be the biggest threat to Jon Jones. Like, I know that sounds really dumb, but as far as, like, stylistically, Blaydes is probably the biggest threat to Jon Jones at heavyweight. Because he's a very athletic, wrestling, okay on the feet heavyweight. So that might be, like, the coldest take of all time, but Curtis Blaydes might be the biggest threat to Jon Jones at heavyweight. Co-main event, if Luke Boonmee wins, she's fighting for the title, and we do not have a new contender. Jessica Andrade with a knockout in round number 2. We need to find a new contender. And we've arrived at our main event of the evening. Frank Mir at 44 years of age taking on Alexander Gustafsson. This fight would be an absolute tragedy if we were to see it today. I don't know if Gus is actually fighting anymore. I know he fought at heavyweight a couple times, I believe. I don't think he has anything scheduled either. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Gus has anything scheduled. But in game, coming off 2 straight wins, Todd Duffy and Curtis Blaydes. Frank Mir, on the other hand, top 5. That goes to show you how our heavyweight division's been doing. Wins over Biggie Boy, Rudy Shafroth, and Stipe. Because Stipe has not been doing good in game at all. Let's go ahead and get the main event started. Yeah, we've never seen anyone big just try to lay on top of Jones. Well, the thing is, not necessarily try to lay on top of Jones, but be a threat to him on the ground other than, I guess, DC and Thiago Santos. Because Santos nearly... Santos nearly submit... Santos and Teixeira both nearly submitted him. Gus is scheduled to fight at heavyweight in a few months, May. That's awesome. Like, I love Alexander. Amir lands the right hand. I got Mir. Gluttony said he's got Mir at 44 years old. I mean, after all the times Gustafsson's been knocked out, I wouldn't doubt it. Coming together to strike in what's been a pretty boring first round thus far. Just jabbing at each other. Trying to engage each other in the center. Quick right jab, nothing going on. End of round 1, they say Gustafsson wins the first round. All right, round 2 underway, 44 years. Between the two of these guys, there's 80 years. Uh-oh, and it's over. I was looking to the side for a second, and it's over. Alexander Gustafsson knocks out Frank Amir in round 2. And let's see. Jacare went 26-0 before losing his first fight. Who did he lose to in that save? Alexander Gustafsson wins by knockout. Time to see if Mir retires. He does not. Mir going to fight into his 50s. Fighting Big Ben Rothwell on the 21st of May. That is awesome. Ben Rothwell somewhere cackling. You've seen nothing yet. Anybody remember that? Who did he beat when he did that whole post-fight thing? Because that was cringe, but in like the best way possible. We have 3 fights who were potential fight of the night. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Duho Choi and Gilbert Melendez because that went a little bit longer. But I'm going to give performance bonuses to the other guys just because I can afford to. Like, I have no qualms about giving out money at this point. We have free money to give out. And then, did anyone get a first round stoppage? Duffy, Pat Mix, Ali Bekoff, and that is it. And we still made a decent little profit. Duffy, the highest paid fighter with $245,000, followed by Duho Choi and Husier Formiga. Frank Mir, our main eventer, only getting $119,000. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Appreciate you guys as always. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitch and Twitter. Links are down in the description below. If you're on Twitch, stay tuned. Have more fights coming your way. I will see you guys next time.